which hopefully means we're going. And this session is just a bit of like a wrap up before the summer break. Some of the updates of discussions and conversations we had open with you. Any questions you have to ask before you go on summer break, anything you need from us, you can ask today. But yeah, I'll kick us, hand over to Diana to kick us off to talk a bit about upcoming events and the feedback from you on that.
Can you hear me? Okay, excellent. Okay, so we asked you about, we did a quick survey and we asked you about format of the event, frequency and content. Thanks to all who gave us feedback. So first of all, we asked you whether you would like to keep the sessions virtual or whether you would like them, you would like in-person sessions. About 50-50, the response came back as keep them virtual or try hybrid. And if we are to try hybrid, ideally we should match it with an existing event, because people cannot travel purely for a DMPonline meeting. Universities don't justify that kind of expenditure any longer. Many of our users are in Netherlands, Ireland. So it's hybrid or virtual. We will consider doing some workshops at conferences such as the International Digital Curation Conference or RDA events. So thank you very much for the input. Up until now, we've done sessions every month, the monthly drop-in meetings. Again, about 50-50 people felt that this was a bit too often, and we should do either every 2 months or quarterly, so have 4 events a year of with different topics in them. So we'll bear that in mind. The content, we asked about content, and you said that we should keep the updates from the team. You're always interested in that. We should have the guest speakers from the subscriber community, and also external experts, anybody coming in and talking about research data management. And to make space for more discussion, you felt that there was more need for hands-on sessions and more discussion. Some of the topics you said we should include test sessions when we have bigger updates of our DMPonline. We should include hands-on test sessions for these new features. You also like the use cases, so you would like the guest speakers coming in and showing how they've used DMPonline or even other tools, how they manage data management at their institutions. Some of you also mentioned perhaps having representatives from repositories. That was an interesting suggestion. But you also like testing events, hands-on workshops for the new features, or for features that you're not too sure the work they're best. You're not too sure whether you're using correctly. I guess this will be very, very useful for us to develop the tool, your input on these features and the workflow of creating a plan or sharing a plan, feedback. Anything new we introduce, ideally, I get the impression that you would like some kind of testing session. Some of you may mention the hackathon. I quite like that suggestion. Working on a particular issue that constantly pops up. So yes, we are thinking of hackathons. So if you like, if you have suggestions for issues to discuss during the hackathons, that would be really welcome. Put them in the window or send them to us via DMPonline at dcc.ac.uk. Yes, we like that idea. And this is it. It was a very short survey. Thanks to all who sent us their feedback. You can continue to send ideas. So what we are hoping to do, this is the last event in this, let's call it school year, this academic year. And starting from the autumn, we will put a timetable together starting from the autumn. I think initially I had suggested mid-October, September being perhaps a bit too early in the academic year with people being busy, perhaps with reviewing plans. And also when we schedule, we'll have to pay attention to international holidays and major events in our subscribing countries. So if we stick to every 2 months or quarterly, we'll have 4 or 5 events a year, and we'll decide together what features to look at. So probably I'll circulate an email inviting you to suggest topics. You know, this particular issue I would like to discuss at Hackathon. I think we'll put forward proposals, but we would also invite you to say whether you're happy with that or want something else. So this is me about events. Do you have any questions? Any suggestions? Well, if not, I'll take on board. Let me see what's in the chat. There's just the notes. If not, I'll take on board what the information you supplied, and I'll circulate a timetable for the next academic session. I don't think we'll be holding anything over the summer because people will have been busy throughout the year and will probably take a well-deserved holiday. Thanks. I'm now going to hand over to Patricia, who will talk to us about your input for the features, a new feature. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Diana.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yep. If you bring back slides now, I mean the main points are also in the already in the agenda document, so you could follow along there if you wanted. But
okay, I hope you can see it.
Yeah, can you move to the next slide?
Yeah, sure. Can you see it as a show, as the whole screen?
No, but it's fine. It's big enough, I think. Yeah, last time or already starting at the user group in April, we kind of introduced or showed you the new research outputs tab, which is now available in DMP roadmap code. There was an interest in previous user group sessions that's something you'd like to see in DMPonline, and that now would be available as something that we could just switch on. So we have that currently up on our development page for people to give it a look and play around with it. And we basically wanted to get your idea of if this is something that we should switch on and make available to you as a new feature. Yeah, got some good feedback from you on that one. So the main message is I got from the discussion with you at the last drop-in, and any feedback you've provided via the survey is basically there is no point in switching that on as it currently is. It duplicates a lot of information with what folks have in their templates. It's it's okay, but it's not quite as customizable as you would like it to be, to actually see it as an enhancement to the tool. And I think the most positive feedback was like, oh yeah, if you switch it on, we'll work with it, but that's not really like the endorsement that we would want to launch a new feature. Most of you have basically said that if we would switch it on, it requires quite a lot of lead on time for you to make all the changes, update all the guidance. But ideally, you want this to be something that you, as like an institution, can decide if you want to have it switched on or off, or even on based on a template basis. For that, we have to check with our developers how that's possible. You know, quite a few of you said like this is not really self-descriptive. I think it makes sense if you have an idea of what the machine actionable data management plan standard looks like. You can kind of then figure out why certain fields are there, but it's not good enough to be also easily understandable to an end user. So you would want to put in your individual guidance in there. And you've also all provided good input about different external resources that could be used to populate some of the fields, some ways how to, you know, get additional information there that is not necessarily coming from one of the standardized resources. And that just requires more exploring if we can offer basically different resources, how that feed in information, if people can set priorities for metadata standard directories, for example, that get offered. So that all requires a bit more thinking and work exploring around that issue. So for the time being, that means like research outputs will not be launched. So we're just not going to make use of that feature as it is in available in DMP roadmap. We need to figure out how much you know, time and effort it is to address some of the suggestions, and if that developer effort isn't actually better spent on some other features and looking into some other things, and we just leave the research outputs tab for a while. So this is something that I guess like could come back in user group discussions when we look at priorities for certain features and changes that need to be made to them. And you can update, or like you can continuously provide input and keep asking for how this is going. But for the time being, it sounded like no one really wants it in wants that to go live in the way it currently is. So we will not launch that in anytime soon. And I think that's kind of the main points on research outputs. I don't know if there are any further questions on that one, or comments.
I don't see anything in the chat.
No, I don't see anything either. So let's move on to the last bit of updates then, and that's kind of the standing item of like just giving you a bit of an insight into like, you know, general how it's going with the team, what's happening, so you kind of have an idea of what we're working on our end. I'll start with like a personal update, and that is that this is like definitely my last DMPonline drop-in session, and not just only because we are trying to figure out what's happening with events throughout the next year, but because I will be leaving the DCC, and thus the role of DMPonline product manager at the end of July. So there is at the moment no obvious replacement within the DCC. So there's like not a new person here that I will be handing over to, but it is on the roadmap that the role that I've just been doing part-time is worth doing as or is worth developing into a full-time role as a service manager for DMPonline. So that is on the list, but the scoping for that and the hiring has yet to be started. And that also means that like over the summer and for a while, basically will be like less resources in the DMPonline team because there's no one obviously coming in to replace me immediately. But Diana will, as part of the regular communications, keep you updated on what's happening there. You'll see when the post goes out, and you know, like if anyone is interested in this job, like feel free to apply then. Thanks for the good wishes in the chat already. I will miss you too. This is definitely like these drop-in sessions, like once per month, just chatting to the community definitely has been one of the highlights of these jobs. So I will miss these. I'll keep tabs on what's happening and weigh in. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to new challenges and doing something slightly different. You also know that we're like been looking for more developer resource for quite a while. That is still ongoing. We still don't have like a real solution on how to get more developer effort on board. And that's something that, is a high priority. We know that we keep pushing and keep looking at solutions there. And again, you'll hear updates on how that's going. And just to give you a bit of like an insight in work priorities over summer, that DMP roadmap code is currently running on Rails 5, and there's a new version of Rails out, and that means Rails 5. So the version that we're currently running doesn't get supported any longer, which means that we need to spend the summer to upgrade to a new Rails version. It's not as big an update as the last one was, so it shouldn't cause as many issues and take us as much time as the last Rails upgrade was. I know that like that took forever and it took quite some resources on our end, and meant that we didn't get quite as much other things done during that period. But we were working with all the partners in DMP roadmap on that. So we have effort from the colleagues in France and DMP Opidor. We have the Canadians that just joined DMP roadmap looking at it as well. So there are a few more people to contribute to that upgrade, and we hope that by the end of the summer we're in a good position there. And then once that upgrade is out of the way, we hope that we have by then a better idea of what the developer resourcing situation looks like, and then can tackle the backlog of new features that we promised you, and that you'd like to see then, and we really actually also want to get working on. So hoping that can happen then after the summer. Yeah, but that's the main updates that I am aware of. So I don't know if there are any questions you want to shoot us before the summer break. Any other comments? Anything you came for to hear about in the sessions that we haven't tackled on? now's your chance.
Well, I'm not sure if it has already been addressed. I'm sure that it has been, but I think I'm not exactly up to date with all the blog messages. As maybe all other institutes also encounter, we encounter still a lot of problems with the famous tick box of the no funder associated with this plan, because many of our researchers miss the tick box when they have a funder. And I acknowledge that this is a generic field or a generic screen, so all institutes make use of this, but could also be the more smart solution or the short-term solution to adjust the text next to the tick box. So it's not really a development effort, but maybe a bit of a language effort.
Yeah.
Because the text is a bit confusing and not very intuitive for new users. And we all know that users just start using the tool, and we have all kind of manuals, quick start guides, but when they get the link from someone else or from me, they just start using, and they want it to be intuitive. And maybe instead of no funder associated, which is confusing when you have a funder study, but still prefer to use our institutional template, you could also state it as I prefer to use my institutional templates or something. Or does this not cover the generic?
No, I think there is a point to that, and there's I think there are quite a few suggestions on rewording on that page. We're actually looking at like completely reworking that page, the logic, what it shows. But that shouldn't keep us from, looking at the quick rephrasings that we can do and putting some quick fixes in place while the other part is ongoing, because that will take a while. So you basically, instead of the no funder associated with this project, is like, you kind of want to rephrase it as like to something that makes it clearer. Like you don't want to, you have a funder, but you don't want to see the funder template.
Yeah.
And we need to figure out how to phrase it
without leaving out the other users and possibilities. So it could also be an or phrasing. But no funder associated is a scary tick the box the box to take for for researchers. So they just fill in the funder and miss our institutional guidance, and that's the large.
Because they also don't like. I mean, I guess they think there's no way back. Then, like once they tick the box, which is not. We'll make a note, like, I mean, looking at the phrasing, putting some phrasing suggestions out there that should be doable.
Maybe it wouldn't require that much of development efforts because we
don't have to
restructure anything.
It requires brain effort, I think, though, to come up with something that still addresses every use case. But that's something we should be able to do. And
I'm happy to think along if you prefer.
If you have suggestions, I think these are, and Diana, maybe we can highlight them after the session, because this is in the roadmap code base. I think these tickets are publicly available, so you could just jump in on the discussion with suggestions that you have, but we also should do a little bit of brainstorm, and then once we have suggestions, run a few of them past people. So I guess that will be another, could be potentially another like quick survey, like a few mock-ups to get your input in. No, that's a good one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Joachim, I think it was you next.
Yeah, I was just a bit worried about this DMP roadmap update, if it will affect the APIs again, since we're heavily dependent on the API version 0. So I hope that won't be too much affected by this update. I hope the guys at DMP Tool and your Canadian partners and French partners are aware of that too, that some people at least are using the API version 0.
Yeah, I think they might not be using version 0 as much, but we can make a note that, you know, this
please.
is for like priority areas where we know we are the heavy users, and something that we should take special care to do the testing around to make sure that works. Yeah, we can note that down.
Thanks.
I don't have like enough technical understanding to tell you what a Rails upgrade affects. Which
I completely understand that.
Yeah, but like we'll make a note that we'll pay special attention there. I think we also, based on the queries and things that you report, we should be able to pull together like a decent set of queries of what you usually are sending towards the API, and could run stuff like that in the testing. Yeah, noted. Thank you. Miriam?
Yes, thank you, Diana. Good afternoon, everybody. It's afternoon already. I would like to ask about the versioning. Can you comment on the progress of that particular feature?
Yeah, we haven't managed to start on it, like just basically due to resourcing issues. Like we're quite behind. We know that. We haven't managed in our last round of hiring, we haven't managed to get as many developers on board as we wanted to, and have positions for. So that like is still like resourcing is our main issue at the moment, as you can see in the team update. So we're figuring out what we can do in terms of getting contractor effort in, or anything that really can help us to free up some time of our core developers to actually start new features. So versioning is still the one on top of the list once we have resources to start looking at something new. But yeah, we just at the moment, with the little development capacity we have, it's basically maintenance and urgent bug fixing is all that we have capacity for at the moment, unfortunately. So yeah, versioning top of the list, but hasn't made any progress yet.
All right, understand. Thanks for commenting.
Yeah, but like, yeah, keep checking.
Yeah, if you possibly can add that item for the autumn drop-in session, that would be, I think, interesting for more people than just myself.
Yep. I think I see Diana is making notes, so like she's gonna follow up. We'll follow
Perfect.
up.
Thank you very much for that.
Everything. Thank you. Rory. I can't hear you. I can see that you're unmuted and speaking, but need to. I still don't.
Is that better?
Yeah, now it's picking up. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Good.
Now I can't hear you, but doesn't matter. I'll speak. So first of all, I wanted to say we share your pain in two respects. I think everybody's under-resourced, And secondly, I mean, we're also in the market for developers right now, and for you know, but for those who don't know, the market for developers is just like exploded. So it's extremely difficult to hire developers at, well, we might say at what used to be considered reasonable prices, but those prices are no longer, they're no longer working. So I just say, you know, like I say, we share your pain. But the point I was going to ask was following up on Joachim's point about the API, because we also depend on the DMP roadmap API. So I was wondering whether it would be possible for, as the roadmap gets, DMP roadmap gets updated, for there to be some public, on GitHub or somewhere, some public, you know, updates on what's happening, because instead of having it come as a surprise and then it's broken and then it's inconvenient, you know, obviously it's inconvenient for users and it's inconvenient for us to try to maintain it. So if it's possible to have some, as I said, public updates on changes to the roadmap as it progresses, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, we figured out, or we're trying to figure out how we basically, you know, make the issues transparent on roadmap to see what we're you know, so people can see what we're working on, and I think some of the folks are trying to document as some of the developers are documenting as they are going along. But what we also could try is like when we do the, you know, the testing of early versions of DMP roadmap, if that's up on some test servers, we could ping a few friendly people, and you could like actually, you know, see and troubleshoot early, help troubleshoot, help look at what's broken, or what it looks like early on, if that's something that would be useful. So just to actually make sure that, you know, whatever is coming is working for you, because as I said, while we have at least for some of our customers reasonably good notes from them reporting bugs in the past of what you're looking for, I think it might just be, you know, worth giving you a demo version with a early version of roadmap and have you send or like interact with that as a sandbox. We can do that, I think. I'll make a note.
Wait, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, thank you.
Yep, all good. Angeliki, I think, yeah, I've seen your comment in the chat, but shoot.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah, I put it in the chat as well. I was wondering, and apologies if I have missed something here, but how we can update some links that are not functional anymore in the DMPonline. I mean, on the DMP templates section, where are some funder links that leads to a dead end. And I'm wondering about the funders templates, if they are updated, because sometimes there is no consistency with the current template from the funders webpage and with the template that we've got on the tool. I don't know if someone else has experienced this.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Usually, like in the past, we like some of the funders notified us when they made changes, and then we just copied them in. So like the main funder templates, the central ones, mainly all the UK funders that I assume you're talking about, they are like updated and curated by us centrally. So you then only need to do like any edits on top. If there is something outdated, the best way to get that going is to shoot us an email with any links that are not working. If you have the new links that are working, send them along, and then we'll do that centrally quick review of what's happening and get those updated. And yeah.
Sorry for interrupting, but do you contact funders if in case of updates with respect to the plans? So do you have a regular communication of how this is happening?
We had in the past, but then it's like, it's one of these things where the people that are in these positions at the funders like move on, and people in DMPonline move on, and then like you're in this position where like I don't know who's at the funder that I can ask about an update any longer, and they are probably not entirely sure whom they should contact on our end. We try and do that if there's like, if we're if there's anything we're not sure about. We've in the past have asked for clarification, and been in touch with people to make sure we're like that whatever is on DMPonline is properly representing the correct information. But yeah, it's probably not been as active as it could be. But if you have any leads, any new links, anything that's happening, like we are happy to update that based on the documentation, but also see if there's anyone in the funding councils, at least in the UK, that can help us with it. I know we're like in touch when we are setting up new ones. I think Diana is just waiting for help from Luxembourg and things like that. So basically, if we have a contact and we're just setting something up, and then we contact, we are in conversation with them. But if contacts leave on any of the sites, then it's getting a bit difficult, and we're probably not doing it quite as regularly as we should.
Yeah. I think you have a point. Perhaps we should establish an annual rota, emailing funders and saying, please take a look at your templates and make sure they're up to date. They tend to be slower in getting back, but at least we are doing our bits. So I think you've raised an important question. Once the templates are there, they become relatively stable. They don't change often, but I think if we prompt them, please, if you have any changes, publish them now. At least that maintains the link, a conversation.
Yeah, it's quite complex though, because sometimes I try to find a more recent template on their websites. I can't remember any example at the moment. And it was quite difficult.
Yeah.
Even their updated websites, they do not provide a clear template. So you have to search and search on the guidance for applications and all of these pages to find out where the template might be. So it's quite complex. I understand the difficulty, but we can't edit anything ourselves. We have to contact you. I mean, on the tool itself.
Yeah, like for central funder templates, anything that is centrally that is the core of the funder template, and not your customization on top, is done by us. So basically, we take the notification from you or any other member of the community, and then edit that centrally, and that goes out as an update to everyone. So it's basically like it's crowdsourcing notifications from you to us when you encounter that something is broken or something has moved or there's a new template. And then we centrally just do like a quick review and update the template accordingly for everyone. So, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. Thank you very much for clarifying this for me.
Thanks. No problem. And looking forward to any links you ping us, and we can do the review. And like once we know what we're looking for, it's a fairly quick process. It's just like, as you said, if you don't know where you're looking for and which funder you're trying to find a new link for, that's the top bit that takes time. But once we know which part you want us to update, we can get around to doing that fairly quickly. The other questions, comments? I don't see anything. Well, in that case, everyone, thank you very much for your time. I hope you all have like a lovely summer break. And I'm not sure how much you're gonna like still be hearing from me in this role, but there will be the odd communication in the last few weeks going out. And thanks again for being a wonderful user community. Yeah, being really, really good to work with. And see you all in some way soon. Thanks, everyone.